recording on, and I'll hand it over to you. Thanks, Emma.
Great, thank you so much. So let me know if you have any problems with that link. I have tried to change it so everyone has access to it, but if not, we can send it via email. We can do it in different ways, but I just thought it'd be a nice thing for you to have reference to. So thank you all so much for joining us this evening. My name's Emma. I'm a dental nurse and the founding director of Diamond Dental Staff. So just a tiny little intro about who we are. We offer recruitment and locum services, and we also provide some workshops and training sessions as well. So the main point of today is to just really share with you some different planning strategies that you can look to apply to the time that you have. Feel free to comment in our chat box as well. It would be nice to hear what your focuses are and what your current situation is as well. If you're working, if you're on furlough leave, or just keep us updated. Okay, great. So I am going to try and do a screen share with you all, so you can view the document and the planner that we've put together. Out of interest, did anyone see that on the social channels? Because we shared it across Facebook, so you may have already seen it.
You should hopefully see a chat function on the system where you can type in.
Great, thanks. Hillary's seen it. Hannah hasn't seen it. Not on Facebook. Okay, but can you access it from the link that that's been shared? Perfect. You might also like to have a pen and paper ready as well, just so you can write down some notes. Okay, so I'm going to do a screen share just now. Bear with me. Hopefully this works okay.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, great stuff. Perfect. So, has anyone done a SWOT analysis before? So SWOT analysis are often used in business, but actually they can be used in any aspect really. I think times like these now, when things are a bit uncertain and a bit unsettling, it's a really nice opportunity for us to complete a SWOT analysis, and that could be for ourselves, or it could be for the practice, it could be for any situation that you feel this is fit to use. So SWOT analysis is really a tool that we can use to identify our strengths, to identify our weaknesses, the opportunities and the threats, and everything sort of feeds into one with this. So I'm just going to jump over to another handout here. And again, you should be able to have access to the drive folder that I've created, but everything's connected. So our weaknesses, once we've identified the threats, once we've seen what the opportunities are, they'll become our strengths, and then from that will come more opportunity. And it's just a nice way of being able to almost analyze everything, take a step back, to be able to identify any threats or any weaknesses, so we can move them over to these boxes here, strengths and opportunities. So that's the whole purpose of a SWOT analysis. So with your strengths, I mean, it's good to be as specific as possible. It could be, if we're speaking professionally, it could be down to like your skill set, your level of experience, or your training. Outside of that, if we're talking personality wise, it could be anything. If you're basing this planner on, I don't know, something within the house, and you're looking to do some painting and decorating to pass the time, whatever it is that it could be, just list all your strengths there, weaknesses. Again, that will then help us to identify what it is we need to work on. Now, weaknesses, I don't want you to see weaknesses as weaknesses as such, because the positive thing about listing it isn't to say, oh, these are things that we need to work on. So don't see it as a negative to list your weaknesses, because the whole point of this is to identify them and try and make them into strengths, or try and find the opportunity to develop within that weakness. Again with opportunities, then once we take a real evaluation of the 4 components here, we should be able to clearly find some inspiration to what opportunities are open to us. Threats, I mean, it could be internal or external. A big threat, personally, could be imposter syndrome. I'm not sure if anyone's heard of that before, but it's the real deal. And actually, it could just be down to a lack of confidence, or feeling as though, like, why me? So if anyone has a little bit of time and wants to look into that, I think many people will relate to the imposter syndrome once they look into it. And then that could be, personal development that you'd like to work on as well. Mindset is something that's really important. So there's 2 types of mindsets. There's fixed mindset and growth mindset. And the more that you look into it, you'll find that a fixed mindset will stop you from seeing the opportunities that are available. And by moving over to a growth mindset, you're more open to different things, to different opportunities, and see things in a more positive way. So that's one example of threats. So we've built this, it could be a 30-day plan, 60-day plan, or a 90-day plan. And the main purpose for this is because I think with this time, it's nice to be able to focus on something. I think it's important that we try and find something that we're passionate in, that we can work on, and try to utilize this time that we have in a positive way, and try to see it as an opportunity for us to make time for ourselves again, and find the right balance. So we hope that this is able to offer some support, or some clarity in what it is that you need to focus on. And it's a very personal plan for you to use. So with planning, so there's a massive psychological power behind putting pen to paper, and when we write something down, it's like we feel more inclined to then focus or work on that goal. We take some more accountability to complete it. So just, I think it's so underestimated in that, just by sitting down and making those plans, we're more inclined to do it. So I think that's enough of an incentive to write down some thoughts on what it is we'd like to do, and then develop those thoughts into clear actions by setting some clear plans. I'm not in, bear with me, I'm just going to jump over to the chat again because I can't see your chat box. Okay, so someone else is using the SWOT analysis as part of the yearly appraisals. Brilliant, that's really good. Okay, I'll jump back to it. Okay, so again, this is to hopefully help you identify any weaknesses that can be converted into strengths. And like anything, the way you can get the most out of these plans is to be as honest as possible. It's your plan, so it'll be good for you to make the most out of it. So some of the benefits of planning: so to plan your time, set some key dates or key times. Now, one example when I used this and it really worked well for me was when I was studying for my dental radiography exam, and physics isn't my strong point at all, and I knew that after being at work all day or commuting to London, by the time I get home, I was super tired, and it wasn't a great time for me to study. I wasn't taking anything in at all. So I quickly identified that the best time that I was able to study was in the first thing in the morning. So I was waking up at 4:30, 5, and making myself a super strong coffee. And then I found that at that time, I didn't have any other distractions. I didn't have anything else in my mind other than being ready to take in what topics it was that I was learning. So that's just an example of how planning my time and utilising that moment in the morning really helped me to achieve my path in radiography. And for me, that was quite a milestone, because I wasn't very confident that I was ever going to pass it. Also with planning, you can monitor your progress as well, and it's so satisfying to get to, even if it's a day's plan, to be able to tick off your list and go to bed knowing that you set out everything that you needed to do is quite rewarding. Maybe I just geek out on that stuff, maybe it's just me, but makes me feel good. And then achieving your goals again, having a clear plan. You should be all set to achieve what it is you want to achieve. And I think at this point, it doesn't matter how big your goals are. I think the difference in achieving them and not achieving them is down to how well you planned for it. So, okay. So it's important to identify your goals. They could be short term, they could be long term, and you can complete this complete this template for as many things as you want it to do. So you actually use it to focus on one specific goal, and that might be quite useful for you. But it's important to break everything down day by day, week by week, or month by month, and really try to develop a clear structure on what it is that you'd be working on. And then, you know, sometimes for whatever reason, if it doesn't work out, that's okay. It just means that you need to take a step back, look at what went wrong, and then for the following week, replan, you know, change your structure to make sure that you find your flow in things, and then just repeat the cycle that way. So I've listed some examples of what this plan could be used for. It could be a fitness plan or a healthy eating plan. Now with like healthy eating as an example, sometimes if people don't make a plan and they start making these really rational decisions about the discipline and diet, it's not sustainable, so it doesn't last long. But if you were to meal plan, if you were to think about different, you know, different, I don't know, different meals that you're having throughout the week, it gives you a clearer focus. So it makes it a lot easier to stick to it than just going off the whim and, you know, fancying whatever it is that's in the fridge without really giving it much thought. So that can help as well. So you might be working on a new project, new campaign, preparing for exams. You can use this as well to sort of, this is unprecedented times that we're in right now. It's not a threat that our practices have experienced before. So you might even like to complete this for the practice, maybe share it with your team, share it with your principal dentist or practice manager. I'm sure they'll be, you know, really happy to receive a copy. Okay, and then depending on which the time frame of your plan, it's really important to reflect. I think reflection is such a key point of this whole process, because you would be able to then monitor what works well, what doesn't work well, and what it is that you need to fine tune. At any point you can revisit the SWOT analysis and just complete a new one and just keep the old one as a draft, and just keep returning to it and you know, make some changes, but just monitor your progress and celebrate your progress as well. I think that's another thing that we're not too good at. So make time to celebrate your achievements. So think, believe, achieve. I am a massive believer of the law of attraction and the power that comes with that as well. So I think so I'll give you an example. I'd like you to do an exercise for me. So if you look around the room right now, I'll give you 10 seconds to find as many red things as you can. Start from now. Okay, all done? How many green things did you see? Did anyone count any of the green things? Hilary said none. Anyone else? Everyone's looking around the room now for some green things. Okay, so you didn't look for them. So this is a classic example of mindset and what we're open to. If we're not open to new opportunities, and if we're not open to, you know, just being present and just being aware of what's around us, we won't see it. We won't see that opportunity. So that's just an example of something to be open, of something that comes to you when you're open. Okay, so let's see, I've lost myself a little bit. Okay, so right, so from the SWOT analysis, you would have worked on anything that you'd like to personally work on. It's a great start to stick with it. Like I said, you can use this plan for many different things that you want to focus on. Right now, I'm planning one for the business. I'm planning one for the Diamond Dental Staff Academy that we're launching, and I'm also planning one for a personal project of mine, which is to release and publish a children's book. So you can use it as many times as you want, but it's just really important to set it as a specific plans. So definitely set a schedule. So with this, you can use this example here. So I've just broken it down into 30 days into the 4 weeks, but you don't have to necessarily use this plan. If it doesn't work to write it down here for you, you can use your calendar. You can use a calendar on your phone to set reminders. You can use one of these ones as well. So you can be a bit more specific as to what it is you're doing for each day of the week. And hopefully you all have access to that as well. So you just be able to change it for each one, make a copy of it, download it, print it, and use it again and again, hopefully. Okay, so monitor your progress. Again, really important that we look back and monitor where we are with things. It might be that we're on track, and then we might need to set ourselves a new goal to keep us on our toes. It might be that we're slightly behind, but then from that, if we're running behind schedule, we can look at our threats. Why are we behind schedule? Why aren't we where we hoped to be at this point? And that could be like internal or external threats. So we spoke about internal threats and that, you know, the example of imposter syndrome, but an external threat might be the environment that you're working in. I know that for many people that are working from home at the moment, they're finding it quite a challenge because the kids, the animals, I've got a puppy, so that's a challenge because he wants all of my attention. So, you know, that just as some examples, there could be other things going on that we might have to plan our time around those commitments. It could be that someone's holding us back. It could be that we have a really great idea that we're really passionate in, but then when we share it with someone, they sort of not try to steal the limelight, but, you know, they sort of steal your thunder a little bit. But I think if you find something that you're passionate in, don't take any notice what anyone else wants to say. Do it for you, and make the time to do it for yourself as well. And then again, by visiting the threats, if something's not working, just switch your style up, just find a different way of doing it. But really just get into your flow of things. It's trial and error. You'll find very easily what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And then specific objectives. So has anyone heard of the SMART goals before? I remember I did it at school years and years ago. But this should offer some guidance on how to set your goals. So try and make them as specific as possible, which we've already discussed. Measurable. So how are you going to measure that success, or how are you going to measure your progress? Achievable. I like to aim really high. I think everyone should aim high. But you know, it can't be too far out there in that when we get to the end of the plan we haven't achieved it, and then, you know, we don't feel good in ourselves. But I'm sure in making a plan it's going to be achievable. We're going to get there. Make it relevant. So I think with any opportunity that we have should complement what it is we're doing now. So I think I've already touched base on utilizing the time that we have, but find some relevance in, you know, what it is that you want to do. How is it going to help you personally or professionally? It could be that it's a personal hobby of yours or a deep passion of yours. but do something that has some sort of substance to you, something that's authentic to you, and then like time measurable as well. So this is exactly what this planner is: 30, 60, and 90 days. You'll be able to plan for it that way. But yeah, celebrate your achievements, I think, is really important. And that's it. There are so many different examples that you can find online to help you, maybe to help get you started. But I mean, we're always happy to help you find some inspiration as well. These do fill these in, but just remember that everything feeds back into each other. Let me go back onto this one just here. Did anyone have any questions at all? Or has anyone got any focuses or any projects that they'd like to share?
I want to know if you're thriving at this time. Are you at home, or are you sort of part time in the clinic, or what are you doing, and are you using your time effectively right now?
Don't be shy, guys.
Yeah.
We're interested to hear how you guys are doing, how you're getting on with things. Okay, they're all coming through now. So still continuing with your surgeries.
I mean, I've been
procrastination.
Yeah,
It's a big one, isn't it?
I've been speaking to people who are saying like they're really finding it hard to be motivated. They're tired right now. For myself personally, I have to be like I've like started doing a 10-minute Pilates as soon as I get up. Like I'm like waking myself up properly. And like I was reading that a letter from a lady in Italy was saying, just to let you know what's going to happen, because we're like 2 weeks ahead, you're going to eat and eat and eat. And I was like, I'm not going to be a statistic. I'm not going to eat all day. To be fair, I was eating. I noticed I was like, oh, I'm having cheese and crackers quite a lot. Okay, need to deal to that.
Yeah, I can't stop eating. I'm finding myself, I keep going to the fridge, opening the door, and then walking away, and then going back to the fridge, opening the door again.
But yeah, I was like, no, I'm not. I refuse to be like on autopilot and just do what this lady says is gonna happen.
That's so funny. So I always sort of joke with my mum in that if I'm a massive procrastinator. She calls me I faff a lot, but I do get distracted quite easily. So I think this is why it's so important for me to plan, and so important for me to have structure in my calendar, structure in my diary, so I don't sort of alleviate too far. But I joke and say that I've got the same amount of hours in my day as Beyonce. And that makes me want to shift it up a gear and be a little bit more productive. But I think in these circumstances where, we're not used to being at home, are we? So it's sort of lost for things to do, really. I mean, novelty wears off quite quickly. So it's just nice to plan for something, nice to have a bit of a focus. And also our purpose has almost been taken away, hasn't it? And that sometimes it can be hard to motivate yourself when you feel like you don't have to get up to work. But I think hopefully with encouraging you guys to make a plan, you'll have that fire in your belly, something to get up for.
This is a really great time if you're at work to be thinking about your things like your passions as well. Like Emma said, she's writing a book at the moment, or she's finishing a book she started in 2016.
2016, yeah. I just never had the time. I've never had the time, and actually, I'm really excited to be able to find the time now, because it's such a lovely story, and I'm really excited to share it with everyone. But if this didn't happen, it might be a project that I put off for another 4 years. So I think it's important to find. So there's things that say like to stay healthy, exercise, find something that will stimulate you creatively as well. So whether that's art or performing arts or singing or dancing, um, drawing, reading, writing, something creative. There's Am I right? Do you know where I'm coming from with this? I think there's 4 main things that we should try and fit into every day: exercise, creativity, learning, and maybe some form of meditation. I might have made up a couple in there. I'm not sure.
That sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me too. Okay, guys. Any focuses you want to share on us? Any personal projects or anything you're working on right now?
It doesn't need to be like dental, like, it could be anything that you're working on that you can be planning for. I'm actually really into the health and well-being industry, so I'm like, I really want to put some time aside to think about that, and yeah, just use this time. I mean, it's still quite busy at DNN with, but hopefully I'll get some time in as well to focus on other passions that I have. I think yeah.
Have you seen many people take up the online courses? Because I know many of our community members are sort of trying to plan for their CPD. I think it's great that there's so many online
Yeah, it's not like, I
options.
think a lot of our courses require you to see patients, so already we've had to extend for the current students. It's not something where, it's more up to people if they want to continue to do courses and stuff. We're not overly
Oh, I
pushing it.
see. I see. Okay. I mean, the time's there, guys. CPD, reading, writing articles. So the dental nurse journal, the editor Julie is always really happy to hear from dental professionals that have a story to share. And it could be that that she'll be happy to feature you in the article. So even if you want to share your perspective and your experience of this whole hoo-ha, might be worth reaching out to her and seeing if you can write an article for her. If you've done any charity work, it could be that you get into writing or developing a blog page. The thing is that one thing that we're really keen on doing is like building a strong supported community. So I think we have so many experiences that we can share that's relevant within our like with our colleagues, and people like to talk. People like to feel and experience people's passion in things and what it means to them. So it might be a nice opportunity to consider writing or even reading some of the featured articles that have already been published as well.
That's great, Hannah, that you're doing so much CPD. I need to do mine as well.
So Tom Paul has said that that plans things but doesn't work on your plan. Doesn't work with the plan. I think this is a classic example of why we need to write it down, because it might be that we have an idea in our heads and we plan for it mentally, but we don't have a structure in place, and that's when I think a lot of like the goalposts are moved further and further and further along. I think that's what probably happened with my book in 2016 that I'm just working on again now, is that I didn't have a set structure or plan with it, and I was busy with other things. But actually I could have allowed some time on a Sunday morning to make time for it. I just didn't plan for it, so it never happened.
I think if you like gave yourself a 90-day plan or something, I have heard people writing books in a month, like just by being fully concentrated and focusing.
Yeah, having that focus. One thing that we touched base on as an example for the internal threats was the imposter syndrome and mindsets. I think it might be a nice idea to maybe host another one of these and maybe base that around mindset. That'll be fun.
Mindset is what got me because I'm a dental nurse as well, and Emma was a dental nurse and she still is. Mindset is the reason why we're running businesses, you know. We're not any better, we don't like have any more skills necessarily than anyone else. Would you agree with that, Emma?
100 million%. Because when you change your mindset, you are open to more opportunities, and then that energy, it's like it radiates, so you attract different people that that you look up to, that motivate you, and then it's hard not to push for better, or hard not to achieve your goals when you're sort of surrounding yourself with those people and those mentors that you can look up to as well. So a couple of you said that we'd like to do the mindset one. Fine, we'll do it. I'd love to do it. It'd be great fun. Great stuff. Does anyone have any questions? How's this time? How did 7 o'clock work for you guys? So we're sort of toying with the idea to push it back to 8 o'clock. I'm not sure if any of you were on our support call last night. That started at 7. Last week it started at 8 o'clock. Seven seemed to work for everyone. That's good. Okay, great. Is there anything else that you would like, any further information that you would like on this topic? Is there anything that was missing that you were hoping to be included at all? That's it. Everything was good. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. We hope it was useful. And I guess we'll confirm another date and share with you when the mindset workshop would be. How did you find out about this event? Was it on the Facebook page? Or I know that we posted it across Instagram as well. Email. Brilliant. Okay, great stuff. Well, hopefully with a future date as well, we'll be able to we'll be able to share that with you sooner rather than later. And then if you found this useful and you think your team members or you have like dental friends that'd like to get involved as well, then they'll be more than welcome to join us.
Thanks so much, Emma. Thank you for taking this workshop. Yeah,
Pleasure.
it's been brilliant.
I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah, I need to get planning now. I'm going to use that SWOT analysis and sort my life out basically. So
amazing. Well, thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for joining, and we will we'll let you know about the next workshop. So I'm going to close the session now.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Emma.
Bye. Bye-bye.